Today we have participants from 3 continents, really all parts of the world, and from my left to the right, let me quickly introduce them. We have Danielle from Canada, who is Lumi. We have Jeff from Los Angeles, Marina from the UK. And Patrick, I think you're from Michigan. Michigan, right? Yeah, Michigan. And we have Ray in Australia. I welcome everyone. This is in this hangout. We have a subject, and this subject pertains to something that we have in common. All of us, we know each other from an online forum, which is the Eckhart Tolle TV forum, and some of us we know each other already for a few years. Others joined a little later, but we have quite some experience to be with each other on this forum, and to be a resource for each other. So this we have decided to make this the topic for this evening, in terms of talking about what draws us into participating in an online forum, what makes us come back, what makes us to be there, but also what is it that makes this a real resource for us on our path, on our spiritual path. And with that, I would like to introduce any of you who ever would like to start with the sharing about an online discussion forum as a resource for the spiritual path. Anyway.
Yeah, the ETTV forum is the most bizarre, dynamic, paradoxical, amazing thing that I've ever been a part of that's not real. It's virtual, as you said, it's like virtual reality, but at its depth it seems more real than my real life, you know. It does have depth, it has brutal honesty, it has a lot of things. I've learned a lot about myself through the forum. I was thinking about it last night, and I was relating it to, for me, for other groups that I'm involved in. A lot of people, what I've noticed is a lot of people come and go. Some people come and post once and then they disappear. And never come back, you know. I don't know what that's about, but it's obviously not for them, you know. It seems to be for certain people tend to be drawn to it and become what I call, they stick, and it's almost like it's difficult to pull yourself away. So one thing that I've noticed that I've gone through, and I notice a few others talk about it, is noticing and becoming aware of an addiction to the forum, which is quite interesting. and some people have left for that reason because of that, and I did myself for a while, and then I came back. So that for me, that was, and now I've come back the second or third time probably. It's just becoming more and more for me. As like Michaela said, it's become a resource. It really has, at depth. You know, there's certain people in my life that I'm very close to and very honest with, and that really helps with. It's almost like they challenge me. They won't let me get away with all the ego stuff anymore, even though I still try. And I'm finding that's what's happening in the forums. We're getting to know each other at depth, and you know, it seemed if someone comes on there, they would think it looks very egoic at times, but it's not. You know, it's like there was even one last night that I was reading. Michaela and Grace were having a bit of a discussion, and it can look volatile at times as well, but I think it's needed. We need that interaction. It's like it helps us to get closer to the truth. Even though I spend a lot of time on the forum running away this way or that. So yeah, that's what's come up so far. Thanks for listening.
Pictures up. Yeah, there I am. You know, I think one of the main things that attracted me to the forum initially was, of course, you know, being interested in Eckhart Tolle's work and wanting to find other people who felt the same way about it and who are interested, you know, not only in talking about his ideas in an intellectual kind of way, but like Ray was saying, you know, people who really want to be open and honest and, you know, share their spiritual lives with each other on a deep level. And I find that happening on the forum consistently, really. I mean, like you said, Ray, sometimes people are more egoic than others, but for the most part, I think people are there to really be sincere and authentic, and that's what keeps me there, I think. I think I'll stop there for now. Thank you.
Hi, I'm going to talk now. I really appreciate what you both said, Ray and Patrick, and I agree wholeheartedly with what you say. For me, the forum is about, well, it didn't start out that way, but for me right now what it is it's about putting my experience into words. And I think that that's what I go there for, because I know that those words will be received with an openness, and that they will be heard, and that I will be heard. And for me, what I've found is one of the things that comes back regularly on forum for me is what is true in this moment. And it's so enlightening, could I say, to see that something that I wrote a week ago no longer holds true now, you know, and this is becoming more and more obvious to me. And sometimes it's very frustrating because I think, oh, you know, I've got this truth now. I've got this real truth. I know that this is true for sure. And then all of a sudden, I have to question it. And I'm finding myself having to question things more and more. And the forum, um, you know, we always hear, or I always hear this, that I think that the most profound understanding of enlightenment for me is the words "I am," and I don't have a profound understanding of those words yet. So what I can say is I am on the Eckhart Tolle forum, and that's where I'm at right now, and that's good. That's a journey in and of itself. That's it. Thank you.
Well, I've been on the Eckhart Tolle forum since it started. I've been away for seems like a long time now. So it's kind of like right now I'm just, I guess, reorientating myself to it. In the past, I used to share a lot, and mostly I think I shared mostly. I knew a lot about. I studied Eckhart. I knew a lot. I studied. I knew. Anyways, I used. I share a lot of quotes or Eckhart Tolle's quotes or pointers. Not my experience, but I could always list. I'll be on a thread and reading it, and okay, this is what Eckhart Tolle says, and I'll find it in the book, and I'll put it up there. So I would put. I don't know. It's hard to share my own experience. Kind of difficult trying to explain. And I was sharing on the forum. Yeah, like I said, I was hard to go back and look back. Still hard to sure put it in my own words, my own experience, or so. Anyways, like I said in the past, I would just put an Eckhart Tolle quote or J.K. quote, something, mostly, and a lot of them were good pointers. Lately, I realized that it was more Eckhart Tolle teachings were more of a belief. It was more belief instead of a. I can never get it. Well, that's what they were mostly a belief, but now they're more of realizing, trying to put it in words. That it's more of a feeling, a feeling realization. It's become real. Okay, it's become more real in my life, in my life. It's just not. It's not just a belief. Like now, when I listen to Eckhart a lot on audio, or if I'm reading, I realized, I realized it's not something. It's not a belief. It's it's something it's becoming real. Yeah, if you know what I mean. I can listen to him now and not try to analyze and try to understand what he's saying, and like, what does that mean? I can't quite get it. And now I can just listen to it and just feeling realization of the truth that he's pointing to. And sure, I think one of the things that lately I made a breakthrough. One of the things that were holding me back, in a sense, from going beyond the pointers and beliefs, was lately I realized that, okay, lately, what I realized, this is about 3 weeks ago, it seemed like it happened after a series of synchronicity events. Anyways, I realized what was holding me back was this belief that I would never get it, or have an awakening experience, or whatever you want to call it, because of my mental illness. How can I become still when having all these symptoms? You know what I mean? Trying to go back, remember. Anyways, okay, I better. Anyways, I'll just leave it with. I realized that for some reason, I don't know why I didn't realize it before, but that no matter whatever's, maybe you can help me out. Am I anyways, I'll just, anyways, I realized that, or after I realized that I could be the space for that too. Before I thought that if I, in order to awaken, then that means my mental illness would go away, or I'd be cured, and my symptoms would go away. But something I realized, and something that made me click, and this, let me read it. So this to make it clear, this is one of the things that really aha experience. This is from Practicing the Power Now, Eckhart Tolle.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the things that really caught me.
So
I read it before, and so many times, it's like, why didn't I get it? I don't know.
And somehow, and suddenly it was real, isn't it?
Yeah.
Suddenly, and it's the magic, isn't it? Suddenly something that is just grace, yes. suddenly, pointers and teachings, and suddenly you sit there and you cannot really believe it. Suddenly it is real, and you have a whole different understanding, isn't it? A whole different understanding of what it means and how it relates to your personal situation. And it's lovely because I think I know you. I think you and I, Jeff, we're on the forum probably the longest. I mean, I think right from the beginning, and I have seen such incredible changes in you. It's just amazing, and for me, it's so lovely that you have agreed to be with us here, in this hangout. Did I interrupt you?
No, not really. No, yeah? I'm glad you came in with that. But I was just going to read. Yeah, that's true, Michaela.
Yeah.
I was just going to read. Okay. One of the things that got me this, whatever you want, aha experience. I was reading this. I read it, 100,000 times before, and others, everything, and all is Eckhart's. I got mostly all of Eckhart's material anyway. Says here, surrender does not transform what is, at least not directly. Surrender transforms you. When you are transformed, your whole world is transformed, because the world is only a reflection. And this is the big one. It says, illness is not the problem. You are the problem, as long as the egoic mind is in control. Mm. The condition that is labeled illness has nothing to do with who you truly are. So I completely, it's like I don't know the words, realize I could be the space for anything.
And that's...
I am. Yeah. And now I have a peace in the background, and it's a space around the more space, not just with the my diagnosis, my symptoms, but now I can just I could just I'll just keep it simple. Can try to explain. I think you know what I mean. I realized. I think that was, but I feel like it was holding me back. Because now it's like a real. I'm on the space for. Yeah. I'm much infinitely bigger than my mental illness. And
that is Jeff. Jeff.
Yes.
Jeff.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. No, and I mean, this is really the important thing. I mean, just to realize to be this space, and this is what this is about. And I mean, are you done? Can I step in?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I mean, I'm really touched with what Jeff shared here. I mean, learning to be the space and what it actually means. Because I mean, when you come from the teachings, and when you come from this idea about I mean, I'm space, or to be the space, what is it actually? And me too. I also have learned this on the forum because when I came on, and this is about 3 years ago, I came because I knew I needed help. I needed help on this path, and basically I didn't really know anyone who was on the spiritual path. And for me it was always, can I live this? Not necessarily in terms of being interested in the teachings and everything, but how can I translate something that is basically turning your life upside down? How can I translate this into living? And this is how I came, because I realized I need, in order to see myself, or in order to know myself, I needed to have the reflection, like a mirror. And maybe this is really what happened, because this is what I found on the forum. I found people that were there giving me the space, so to speak, or being the space for myself to mirror me. And Ray just mentioned that he had observed an interaction between myself and Grace, and this was exactly about it, because there was something in a post she said that triggered me big time, and I always knew this was not about her, and of course nothing was taken personal, but I felt safe enough, and I trusted the situation enough that I knew I could react like the reaction was coming out of me. And this is simply being truthful, being authentic, because there was a pattern that wanted to be seen, and so to and fro, and I think she realized what was going on, and I realized it, and in the end, both of us didn't take it personal, but we realized that there were just two patterns meeting. Two patterns meeting, and by giving it the space, being the space, like Jeff said before, being the space for each other, it allowed us to look at what the way we related, or the way we communicate. And this is how the forum, still after 3 years, is still an indispensable resource for me. It's not only about the teachings or the links, and or different teachers and different people. It's always been for me a mirror in terms of being able to go deeper, and also whenever you come to a level where it's getting confusing, and sometimes this whole thing is getting very, very confusing. There's always someone there you can turn to, and you can relate to, and there is it's really pretty much everyone has become such a resource on different stages. So really, I would have never thought that an online forum could have become such a resource on this path, and basically because, at least in my case, basically really in terms of the mirroring, seeing myself, so to speak, in the communication or in the interaction with others. I think I stop here. I think Marina, Marina is still waiting to be able to say something.
Yes, I was patiently waiting because, well, I initially didn't have anything to say really, and I didn't want to be negative because I really have this love-hate relationship with the forum. And initially, I think it was Lisa who said, initially it's always a honeymoon. Everyone is happy, everyone loves each other, everyone likes to be among like-minded people. And then comes the time when it becomes not so much fun anymore. then it becomes something creeps in, and either it's an addiction to the forum or something else, or people start pushing your buttons, and you start thinking, oh gosh, what am I doing here? I don't want to be here anymore. I hate discussing concepts, don't like words. Anyway, so that's the negative part of it. But actually everything has the negative and the positive part to it. It can't be only the good. It can't be only the resource, the good resource. It will always be, there will always be something else there that's the darker part of it, the undesirable part of it. So that's okay, it's there. But I also want to thank Jeff for saying what he was saying, and that was making so much sense to me. I just couldn't stop writing down what you were saying, Jeff, because for me it was also more of a belief initially. When we read The Power of Now, when we come to the forum, we start discussing those concepts, ideas, philosophies, and only after a while they start becoming more real. So you are basically, as you said, you're going beyond pointers and realizations. That's why I so much hate when people just go on with the pointers again and again and again. You know, I heard the pointers. You know, why are you telling me who I am? What's real? What's not real? I mean, how long, how many more years do we need to sit here and discuss that? But that's me, you know, so other people may still enjoy the pointers, and there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, if it has to become real, it has to become real, and that's what Jeff was saying all along, that you cannot cure things. You can only become the space for them. You can only become the space and let all this stuff be there and take care of itself. If there's no space, nothing can happen. You cannot cure anything. You cannot sort anything out. You'll be looking for solutions and going here and there, but no. Can it be a resource? I don't know, Michaela. Can it be a resource? You think that it can be a resource for us in certain ways. You're saying it's a mirror, it's this and that. I don't know. I don't know, because I sometimes see that everything that comes from outside, cannot really do anything to me personally. If somebody if people can come up with nuggets there and say very clever things and try and point you in the right direction, I will not listen. I will not listen. Like, that's yours, you know, that's not mine. Don't know. Let me think for a second. Sometimes I see really the forum nurturing the things that don't need to be nurtured. I think we have to learn to become more, to be space for people's problems, where it's like a huge therapy room. People come there with their problems, with their issues. They're stuck in unsatisfying jobs, relationships, whatever, thought patterns. They come there and they want help, and they want kind of, oh, I want to learn something to make myself feel better. They come and complain. They come and say, oh, this is bad, this is awful, and my life is just unbearable. And people will say, well, but I'm still kind of accepting everything and doing the right thing. And people will say, oh, you're such a good guy, you know, you're doing the right thing, and I love you so much. And that's what the pain body and the ego wants to hear. And that's not what, in my opinion, we are supposed to be doing if we want to be a resource to someone. It's one thing to give the people the freedom to be as they are, but it's quite another thing to nurture, like victimhood, for example. We can listen, we can acknowledge, because that's what this forum is for. But
Can I ask you a question? Do you have the sense Do you have the sense there is not enough challenge on the forum? Is this what I understand?
No, I think there's more than enough. Well, in a way, yeah. What do you mean by challenge? Because, yeah, in a way, challenge, yes, but challenge in a subtle way, not in the confronting, not in a confrontational way. But challenge is like, isn't it time for you to respect yourself a bit more, let's say, and look at the stuff from a different perspective. In this sort of way, not in the expected way, not in a tribal way, not supporting stuff that's will be supported everywhere else. You know, it will be supported, but I kind of expect more. Well, it's not good that I expect really, but I do expect. I expect more people to be a bit more conscious, you see, in a sense of what are they nurturing in others, if they want to respond, if they want to react. If they don't want to react or respond, that's fine, you know, nobody cares anyway. But if they do, I think we have to be more mindful how we do it and what we nurture. Right.
I think I can understand very well what you're saying, and I think I had this phase for about 2 years until I realized one thing. You know, I mean, people are where they are, you know, and what is happening is what is happening. And I also realized if I got impatient or angry or annoyed, or impatient probably, you know, really impatient. It took me quite a while to find out that this was not about the others, but it was about myself. This is what I said about the mirror, you know. For a long time, you really think, you know, I mean, what you see out there is the others in a way, but then you also make the distinction, and you also have the experience that it's not what you see is the others, but the feeling you have about it. You know, I mean, this is about you. So this is really where it maybe turns around, when you can start. What happens if I change my own behavior a little bit different, and maybe in the way I would like to see this happen? Because, as you say, you know, I mean, the outside cannot reach you, but you can learn. And this is really one of the insights I had on the forum, and then I was able to really bring it out in my real life. Is that by slightly changing your own attitude and slightly changing the way how you interact, how everything else is changing, and that is really quite revealing, and I really can recommend it in small ways. It's interesting. It really has a really big effect. So I just wanted to comment on this observation, and I don't know if any of you has a similar idea. Are we really, you know, I mean, is this really a forum where there is too much saying yes and too much support and maybe also too much agreement in terms of helping us, keeping us in samsara or in the illusion? Or is the forum more a resource that really is, even subtly, helping us to look beyond the veil? Curious if any of you has an idea about this.
Yeah, I have a few questions running around in my head. One thing that came up was the spiritual ego that comes out on the forum in myself, like so I can notice it in others because it's in me, of course, And that can be more blatantly obvious than normal ego, I think. Then there's the problem of everyone's at a different level that's on the forum. But it's like that idea of legion. We are many, so everyone on the forum I can relate to, no matter who they are or what they are. I can find a part of them within me, and so one particular person I might want to fix them because it's a part of me that's hurting. And I think what Marina was saying, which I agree with, is to, and Anthony de Mello talks about this a lot. You know, the worst thing you can do is try to fix someone. You know, and me being a therapist, you know, people come to us and hopefully after 6 weeks with me they feel worse, not better. Which I just hope, as long as they keep coming back until they feel better. But it's that idea of it's not about fixing people. So yeah, so you see all different kinds of things happening on the forum. And the question that came up for me when Marina was speaking was, she talked about that you reach a point where you think I'm really not enjoying this forum anymore. Why do I keep coming back? It's like this is painful, and people are pushing my buttons and all that kind of stuff. So the question is, what do I do from there? Why is this happening? Is this a good thing? Should I keep going deeper and find out what it is the question. And what are people's experiences? I suppose mainly what Michaela and Jeff are noticing, they've been there for a few years, is you go past this phase and onto another phase. So I can really relate to what Marina's saying, though. I went through a period of seeing myself, my real self, not my true self, but my real shadow was coming out, and so that can only be a good thing. But I didn't like it that much, so I ran away for a while. But I'm back, and I'm enjoying it now. So yeah, I'm interested in what people think about that idea of hanging in there with the forum when it's really starting to become painful. So, thanks.
I'll say a few things here. I think that I can only speak in terms of my experience, and so what I'm saying, it may not necessarily be something that can be characterized to everybody's experience. But for me, you know, this has been a journey, and what I realized about this journey is that the ego seeks to project an image out there of itself, and it seeks to get feedback constantly from others about how it's doing. And so there's a lot of that happens. And what I've realized is that as you sort of let go of that need to get feedback, you start sort of losing a grasp on things, right? And so I've noticed that the forum, for me, has become very much where I'm projecting this image right now. And you know what you said at the beginning, Ray, about how the forum is this virtual reality space, is an amazing thing, because at any given moment we're free to choose to see it differently. And so you know, I became very aware that every post that we post, we're creating a reality. You know how people sometimes say that threads don't stay on topic or whatever, and that, you know, we end up we're talking about, I don't know, tantric sex, and we're talking about moon pies or something like down, like, so we're just always these, the thing that strikes me about the forum is that what really struck me is one day how I became aware of that what my posts put there is a reality that I'm putting out there, and that we're free at any given moment to see that differently. And then what we put out there is a very much, we're saying, this is how I see things. And so to question that is a very valuable thing. So I am very aware of my need to project an image, and I'm sort of exploring what that means. And the other thing too is that, like, I could be considered one of the ones who brings a lot of my issues to the forum. And the reason that I do this is not to get compassion, because sometimes you have to say in life, like, this is a really hard thing for me right now. I'm really struggling with this issue. Like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And what has been so valuable for me is that something that seems incredibly complex in the moment can actually be reduced to something fairly simple. And that inquiry and getting other people's feedback about how I'm seeing things turns complexity into simplicity. And when I come to the forum with those issues, it's not for compassion, it's just to be able to see it in a way that I can then sort of move forward from it. And for me, that has been an enormously valuable tool in my life, and one of the reasons why I keep going back, because I remember the other day I have financial problems a lot. I struggle financially to make ends meet, and the other day I thought to myself, if I just won the lottery, like, it would solve so many of my problems, and so I went out and I bought a lottery ticket, and then if you just flip things around and see them differently for a minute, like, and make them very simple. So I had all of these 50 problems that I thought could be totally resolved by buying a lottery ticket. And I went out and bought a lottery ticket, and then I just realized how much hope I was putting into this ticket. And I thought, at that moment, I flipped it around and I thought, my only problem right now is that I haven't won the lottery. That was my only problem, was that I hadn't won the lottery in that moment. And it just put it all in perspective. How we see things definitely creates the reality of what we then see. And so that is, for me anyways, a very, very valuable aspect of the forum. So thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a playing with realities. And in the beginning, I think in the beginning you really approach it like you approach, or your habitual approaching of life. But as you get a little bit more comfortable with this and start to explore it, then I have made the exactly same observation like you did, Danielle. You really can play in terms of creating, or observe while playing, how we create our reality, and really the nice thing is, if you can take what you have learned in a virtual environment where it's basically safe, nothing really can happen. But if you take this insight and apply it to the outside. The time has run out so quickly, and it's amazing, I mean, it's just flying. But I really would like to invite each of you for a few words for closing. Just your thoughts, or what you have learned, or your takeaway from this session about talking about resources on the path. And I think what has become so clear is the different, not only different levels, I mean, of course, we are all on different levels without meaning that this is a hierarchy, but you know, I mean, simply different issues and different background and what is on the forefront. You know, I mean, but also, you know, I mean, how differently we integrate this incredible resource, and to me, it is an incredible resource into our life and onto our path. So yeah, who would like to start? Quick, a few words, maybe one after the other. Maybe we start.
Shall I? Yeah, I can start.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to say that it's always a great pleasure to be among all of you, and really time flies. I just didn't notice how quickly it went. And just one more thing I wanted to say. We sometimes think we know why we come to the forum. And Lumi said that, well, Lumi, sorry, Danielle, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm not used to your real name yet.
Yes, it's okay.
Yeah, like we don't always consciously know why we come to the forum. We may think we come to the forum for this reason, but the reason behind our coming to the forum may be very different, actually. So we don't completely know that, but I'm glad that we do come to the forum, and I'm glad that I meet people like you. It's a real pleasure. It's a real pleasure. I wish one day, I think Michaela should organize a hangout where I can just sit and listen, because I don't always want to talk and I end up talking. So I just want, Michaela, I don't want you to ask me questions. I just want to sit quietly in the corner and listen and look at people and enjoy myself in that way. But thank you very much. I really enjoyed it today. Thank you.
Would you like to say something, Jeff? Or oh, sorry, Patrick. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've enjoyed this too. I can relate to a lot of the comments that have been made. It is clear, being on the forum, that people are really at different levels. And I've noticed too that the mood on the forum changes quite a bit. And I see both what you were talking about, Michaela, and also you, Marina. You know, sometimes it does seem like people are being very supportive and kind and so on, but nothing is being challenged, and people might not be going as deep as they need to. Kind of what Tom calls a love fest at times. And other times it can be pretty contentious, and you know, there are conflicts. But overall, I find it to be a safe place and a supportive place, and it really feels like a spiritual family to me. I don't know who said this, but somebody described family as the people in your life that when you go to their house, they have to take you in. I feel that way about the forum. You know, I've left a couple times and come back. I noticed a lot of other people do that too, but I always feel welcome when I do come back, and I appreciate that about it. So for me, I haven't been on as long as some of you have. It's been less than a year for me, but in that time, it really has become a valuable resource, and I see myself probably staying on for a long time yet. So thanks again. This has been a good experience for me.
I think we grow all together. Jeff, would you like to say something? All right.
Yes, okay. Since the beginning, well, I've been away for a while, but in the beginning and for a few years, it was you know, it's like I lived on the forum. I shared so much of my experience. So many people put up with my crap and so many people have held me through. A lot of things. Well, if it wasn't for the forum, I don't know who else I could talk to this about. I don't know. There's nowhere. Yeah, I try to talk to some friends. Some of them get it a little bit, but well, I don't know too many people. But well, yeah, the forum. Well, it's hard for me to articulate.
Like a family.
Help me out, huh?
Like a family. Like a family.
You know, well, you know, help me out. Maybe you can help me out, Michaela.
Yeah.
Well,
we witness each other, isn't it? You know, I think we witness each other, and on a path like this, this is important because after a while, you're no longer the person you used to be. So it's good to know that you have people on this path who are, witness. This is probably the word I would use. Would you agree? Witness.
yes, yes.
Yeah, witness. Thank you, Jeff.
And interacting, I noticed, my ego. I got to watch my motives. And yeah, I know I've yeah. I guess it's I don't know, just looking back, how I, seeing seeing myself, I guess.
Yeah.
Just looking back and
it takes courage, right? It takes courage. I think this is becoming so obvious, right? It takes really courage seeing oneself.
Yeah, I could get so lost. I don't know. But like I said, the forum is the only place I could have to say, meet like-minded people.
A resource, right?
Yes.
A resource. Okay.
I got to check my motives before I post.
Yeah.
What my motives are.
I need to say goodbye. Sorry. I've got to get the kids ready for school. Um, it's been great. What I'd just like to say, finishing up, is I've experienced and felt every human emotion on the forum, and every spiritual essence emotion that you can feel on the forum. Sometimes stronger than in real life. So for me, it's not virtual reality at all. It's very real, and I'm looking forward to where it's going to go with trepidation. So thank you all, and I hope to keep conversing with you for a long time. Thank you.
Yeah, and also for me, thank you everyone for your time and for your courage and for your sharing and for your presence. This has been really so lovely meeting you all and hearing about your views and ideas and impressions and experiences. So thank you very much. I certainly hope we will be able to repeat this many times. Different topics, maybe also trying out different ways of doing these hangouts. But for now, I would like to thank everyone, and I wish you a good day for those who start the day, and a good rest of the day for those who are still in the day, and a good evening for the two of us in Europe. So thank you very much.
And thank you. I wanted to say thank you because and we'll see you on the forum.
see you on the forum. Bye. Bye.